Council to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Deteen? Commissioner Frierson?
Here.
Commissioner McKinney?
Here.
Commissioner McDowell?
Here.
Mayor Hill?
Here. Before we go any further, I'd like to officially appoint Director Colangelo to give us an update on the baseball scores every 10 minutes.
What's on his phone there?
Okay. Pastor Fielding.
Psalm 128 verse 1 says, "Blessed are all who fear the Lord, who walk in obedience to Him." Father, I want to begin this meeting by just thanking you for this nation in which you've given us to live and the freedoms that we enjoy. God, I do pray, God, that as we are entering into this election season and decisions are being made, God, that you would grant us wisdom and helping us, God, to select proper leadership. And as this council, too, makes decisions tonight, Lord, your word says that they who fear the Lord are blessed. And, Lord, we're just asking for that fear to be within our council's heart tonight, Lord, that they would seek to be obedient to your word. God, we thank you for these things. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 4 is agenda changes. Do the commissioners have any agenda changes they would like to make? Hearing none, could I get a motion to
Question.
accept the...
So we dropped 8B. Are we dropping that here as well from township meeting?
No,
Do
we
we
will
not
do
have the same
that.
questions? Okay.
We will do that if you, but we'll proceed on this. I know you did it, you dropped it from the township meeting, but that's because it's different.
Got it. Okay.
Is there a motion to accept the agenda as proposed?
So move.
Have a motion and a second. Is there discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Frierson?
Aye.
Commissioner McKinney?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Item number 5 is citizens' comments. First is Stephen Hopkins from Zion.
My name is Stephen. I'm here to express my opinion about the rental inspection law proposal. I had a bad experience earlier this year that we had to relocate, and I'm on Social Security. And I'm submitting a proposal for the Social Security bearing citizens that are vulnerable to 14-day eviction notices. I'm proposing to see if we can extend that to 30 days so they're able to have 2 paychecks to put together so they're able to move out. Because it was really frustrating for me that I had to deal with this twice. Back in August of September of last year, and then again in August of this year, because of crooked landlords. And I know that this law was meant to be for to stop crooked landlords. And it's really frustrating. So I'm hoping that this proposal I'm submitting would be considered, and hopefully it would be better for the people that are on Social Security.
Okay. Are you situated now?
Yes,
Okay.
the place I'm living in now is way better. It's already been inspected, and we made sure of it.
Okay. I
And
think
just talking about for any other people that are having this problem in the future.
we will give that consideration. I promise you that.
Thank you.
And thank you for your remarks. Next is Clyde McLemore from Zion.
Hello, Mayor and council members. On November the 6th, Lake County Chapter of Black Lives Matter will be hosting a award banquet here in Zion. We're bringing a keynote speaker in, Dr. Rhodesia McMillan, who's a psychologist and educator. This movement woke up the world, prompting widespread activism and community organizing, coalition building in an effort to expose and eradicate the social injustice plugging our society. A lot of people don't know about Black Lives Matter movement and what it's meaning. Our message has seamlessly shifted from the internet movement of organization and individual commitment to restoring Black dignity and eliminating racial disparities deeply embedded within policies and systems. The racial disparities affect our cities, our school, our home, why it's so important for us to engage in dialogue about the problems facing us all. We believe in the Lake County Black Lives Matter movement has found a way to engage everyone in dialogue. With a vision of justice for all, Lake County Black Lives Matter chapter will educate, inspire, participate, stand together and question and challenge the inevitable system, transform society, and cultivate a world where all people are valued, respected, and can live with dignity. We are also giving a Junior Leadership Award. This is $250 that we're giving away, plus a plaque. Our goal is to inspire youth into leadership. You know, when you go to them banquets, they pass it around to everybody else. So we're trying to inspire new leadership. So we're looking for you from the age of 15 to 25 to respond to this with a 250-word essay of why they think they should win the Black Leadership, the Black Lives Matter Junior Leadership Award. So I'd like to leave y'all with this and ask y'all to please come out. And I know we have our personal differences, but I got a whole movement behind me, man, and it's gotten deep. And it ain't all about just when we put the word black on top of things, people take it everywhere. This movement is to get all organizations together to see what our demands is and see what we can put together. Thank you. And I have tickets if anybody's interested.
Thank you, Mr. McLemore. Item 6 is the consent agenda. Would the clerk read the consent agenda?
Approval of minutes of a regular meeting held on October 4th, 2016 at 7 p.m. Bills, vouchers 124777 through 124907 drawn on First Merit Bank, total $586,147.50.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Is there discussion? I just wanted to ask one question, and I should have asked this before to Mr. Nabel. There's a motor fuel tax where we wrote a check to the state of Illinois for $81,000. I don't, can you tell me what that's about?
That's, Director Colangelo, correct me if I'm wrong, but we get a grant for, I think it's an STP route, state route, that they do all the contracting and the construction work and everything, or they contract it out, and they pay the full amount, and they basically bill us for our share of the grant, which I think this one is an 80-20.
Yes.
So 20% of the total cost of the project, they bill to us, but they pay all the vendors and contractors.
And that's our 20%.
That's our 20%.
Part of it.
Part of it for what's been done to date.
All right, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion?
Yeah, there was a couple line items that I was unclear about. The under distribution for 2014 levies, and then the money going back to the TIF. It was what, 140,000?
Okay, yeah, for the TIF one, there's a contractual agreement that when the TIF was TIF 1 was first founded, there were some parcels inadvertently that shouldn't have been included. There was an intergovernmental agreement that basically said rather than redraw the TIF boundaries and everything after it's all been recorded, the TIF would pay $70,000 a year of the taxes out to the county, and then it would be redistributed to the taxing bodies per their share. So that was the 14 and 15, 70,000 per year
Okay.
on that one.
Okay.
The other ones, I believe that was, can you give me the amounts on those? Were those to the,
148,574.11 and 130,700.
is that the police and fire pension?
Mm-hmm.
Every year, we have to give to the county percentage allocations for the amount that we levy for police and fire pension. They distribute directly to the police and fire pension funds, the taxes, but the percentage, they didn't update the percentages of allocation for the year. So we went through all the distributions, and basically, we were over allocated taxes, they were under allocated, so that was the total of the allocation. We ran that by both of the pension boards to make sure they agreed with the calculations, and then we distributed their share.
Okay.
And if I remember correctly, the TIF issue was when TIF 1 was being established, there was a proposal on what the boundaries would be, and the boundaries did not include part of the property around the hospital. And then when the TIF boundaries were actually drawn and legalized, that section around the hospital was included. So we came to the city council, that's when I was with the Park District, we came to the city council and asked if we could be reimbursed for that part of it there that shouldn't have been in the TIF that was included in the TIF, and they agreed, and that's where the $70,000 a year comes from. We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson.
Aye.
Commissioner McKinney.
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell.
Aye.
Mayor Hill.
Aye. Item number 7 is consider passing ordinances as follows. Item 7A is amending Zion Municipal Code, Chapter 14, Business, Section 14-1, licenses required, barbershops, cosmetology shops, nail salons. Generally, Section 14-2, sanitation and barbershops, cosmetology shops, and nail salons. Generally, Section 14-4, fees to be paid in advance, term covered disposition. Section 14-36, person subject to license. Section 14.43, inspection. Section 14-312, license includes other lines of business, per Deputy Clerk.
Basically, this is just kind of combining sections that we're saying the same thing, and a lot of it's regulated by the state, so it's just kind of cleaning up a lot of things that were in the code that we were already doing.
One of the goals of the clerk's office is to look at our code, look at state statutes, and clean up some of the things that are amiss in the codes. And you'll go through here, and none of these things are new. All of these things are happening right now, and nothing is actually changing. We're just establishing them in the code as they're supposed to be.
Okay, that's one question that I had. So I don't have any questions about the requiring barbershops and others to.
And that's required now.
Yeah, follow state law.
Right.
But in terms of business license, so was that actually a change in our ordinance? We practice a business, no matter if they're in the same building, run by the same person, if they have two separate businesses, they're required to get two separate licenses?
I think that's the practice now.
Yes, we're doing that now, but there was some ambiguity. And the home-based business license fee shall not be prorated for a partial calendar year, because the home-based business license is $15. So it's like, but we are requiring, if there are two businesses run out of the same building,
So what's our definition for two businesses? Is it two tax IDs, or what's our definition there?
you know what the definition of the two businesses, since I think that they have.
Well, now if you have, it's so we can regulate the things that are going on in each business, because each business has like if you have a restaurant, they have health department requirements, they have building department requirements, they have different requirements for the different businesses. And in order for us to keep those requirements current and, you know, that we can keep an eye on it and make sure that everything's up to code, we decided that that's how we can do it, so we can keep track of everything.
So I'm just thinking if I have a barber shop that does, you know, hair cutting and, you know, nails all in the same shop, is that?
No, that's this,
It's more like if you have a, excuse me.
It falls under the same general.
Yeah, it's like if you have a building that is, if you have a hotel across the street that has a hotel, and then you have I believe there's a doctor's office in there, a Vista or somebody's in there.
Okay.
That's considered a separate business. And we have been requiring business licenses from them, but there has been, somebody has said, well, it's all in the same building, so it's the same business, and it's really not. So we're.
I was trying to think of a scenario where that would make sense. If you have, you know, one you know, I think like Commissioner Fryerson said, if you have one tax ID and you decide you're gonna sell shoes and something else, well, it's one business. But if you have a hotel operation that has a walk-in clinic, that I can understand.
Mhm. And there are other ones that, I'm trying to think, I think there may be a business owner who owns a business and they're doing dry cleaning or something, but in that same business, there's an accounting, they're renting out part of their building to an accounting office.
Right.
So that would be,
Yeah.
we're talking about separate businesses. If somebody were doing dry cleaning and they decided they wanted to do, bring your laundry in and I'll wash it and fold it and give it back to you, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about two specific businesses.
I'll make a motion that we approve these amendments to our municipal code.
Second.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Wow. I can't believe you just called me, Clyde. Yeah. You just called me. That was you.
I thought it was the score of the Cubs game, or something like that.
No,
Man, I was thinking about you. Let me cut my phone. Sorry about that.
that's pretty good. Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
And a second. Is there further discussion?
Yeah, one other question about the inspection. So those are not a regular ongoing thing, just when it's a new business or change of ownership? Am I reading that correct?
Yes.
Is there any reason we don't do ongoing, like every 3-4 years, health? Or is that done by the state or the county rather?
No, it's kind of, the county does yearly inspections on food service and, I'm trying to think. The fire department does inspections. You do yearly inspections, don't you, John, on most businesses?
Got it. Okay.
Annually. But from a building department point of view, once they have their occupancy permit, we pretty much don't go back and re-inspect unless they come in for a permit.
Got it, okay.
We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner McKinney? Aye. Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Consider item 7B is amending the Zion Municipal Code, Chapter 56, Liquor Control Regulations, Article 4, Conduct on Licensed Premises. Section 5697 is prohibited activities on licensed premises in Chapter 62, Article V, Gambling. Section 62-287, Gambling constituting and prohibited. Section 62-288, keeping a gambling place. Section 62-292, video gaming per the deputy clerk. And, go ahead.
This is, we discovered also when we were going through our code that back when we repealed our ordinance to allow video gaming, we never had anything in the code to explain that. We never had a section at all for video gaming, so, and it's all per the state, the gaming board and, the liquor control regulations and all per the statute.
So we passed the ordinance, and these are this is the meat of the,
And this, basically what we said is that, I mean, basically, correct me if I'm wrong, Paula, we've said we really don't have any control over video gaming except for
A prohibition or allowing
a
it.
prohibition or allowing it, and we also get I believe we charge $25
Terminal.
per terminal. The rest of the regulations for gaming is the state Illinois Video Gaming Act. And all of this refers, any questions about it, back to the Video Gaming Act, and that's what it is. This is a housekeeping item.
but we have some oversight of the facilities, if I'm reading this correctly.
Yes, we have some oversight of the facilities, and what we have control over is the liquor license.
Okay.
That's where our control comes, is on the liquor license. And we do, there are also stipulations in.
Well, it requires strict compliance with the state regulations.
Yes,
And if one of our, it looks like it's police authority or building or code enforcement officials, if they notice a violation of a state statute, that can be brought to the state's attention?
Correct.
Okay.
do we have a motion?
No.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second? We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner McKinney? Aye. Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Item 7C is vacating a portion of the public alley between Elisha Avenue and Emmaus Avenue in the city of Zion per Mayor Hill. If you'll recall, we had talked about this quite some time ago, and this is the portion of the alleyway that would be west, would go west, and it is actually, the hospital is using this alleyway right now for its entryway to the hospital. And we talked about this quite some time ago, and we had talked about when we vacate property, the amount that we charge different for the vacation of the property when another entity gets it. And it was, if you remember, it was a very small number that we would collect, a small dollar amount that we would collect when we would vacate properties. And we decided at that time that we would look at raising the amount. And we had talked to the hospital and negotiated this amount. It's $17 per square foot. What was it before? Director? It was $1 a square foot. We've raised it to $17 per square feet. This, we were gonna, and this was, we gave them an extension on getting all this done because Director Nabel and I were negotiating with the hospital on this. And when they opened, they were given an extension. They were given a, anyway. This is what we talked about a long time ago, and the hospital would pay us, instead of paying us, trying to fit $3,500, we'll be collecting $59,508.50 for vacating that alleyway if this is approved.
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance vacating a portion of a public alley situated west of Elisha Avenue in the city of Zion.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Is there discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner McKinney?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Item 8 is discussion, authorization, and approval. Consider approval of the revised conference and seminar travel policy per city clerk. Am I doing this?
Yes.
You have the state of Illinois passed a law. Well, anyway, the department heads have reviewed the city's current policy for approval and reimbursement of conference and seminar travel, which was last revived in 2004. In order to avoid the policy falling victim to obsolescence, it was agreed that lodging, travel, and meal rates be based on the average daily industry rate specific to the area to which the employee travels as determined by the GSA, the General Services Administration. It was further agreed that expenses should not exceed the IRS guidelines in effect at the time of travel. Updates to the policy include, among others, the following requirements set forth in Public Act 099-0604 as enacted by the State of Illinois General Assembly with an effective date of January 1, 2017. Expenses for travel, meal, and lodging of any employee that exceeds the maximum allowed under the regulation adopted under Section 10 of the Act may only be approved by roll call vote at an open meeting of the corporate authorities of the municipality. Reimbursements for any entertainment expenses shall be prohibited. Entertainment expenses defined by the Act to include shows, amusements, theater, circuses, sporting events, and any other place of public or private entertainment or amusement unless ancillary to the purpose of the program or event. I respectfully request that the City Council approve the revised conference and seminar travel policy and procedures as presented. You have a
So Mayor, this is the revised policy that we have in front of us, or this is the policy?
This is the policy that we are asking you to adopt tonight. And it, are there any, is there discussion?
It's straightforward.
It's very straightforward. Is there a
I'll
motion?
make a motion that we approve the conference and seminar travel policy and procedures presented.
We have a motion? Second. And a second. Is there further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner McKinney?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Item 8B is consider approval of travel policy for elected officials per city clerk, and I'll handle this one also. The State of Illinois General Assembly enacted Public Act 099-0604 with an effective date of January 1st, 2017 to establish certain obligations on local governments regarding reimbursement of local officials' expenses. This new law places two new obligations on units of local government: to adopt by ordinance or resolution a local policy on expense reimbursement, and two, to approve by roll call of the corporate authorities any expenses that exceed the maximum allowable reimbursement established by the local policy. The new law also prohibits any unit of local government from reimbursing entertainment expenses. Municipalities must adopt a policy before January 1, 2017 to include, at a minimum, the types of official business for which travel, meal, and lodging expenses are allowed, a maximum allowable reimbursement for travel, meals, and lodging expenses, and a standardized form for submission of travel, meal, and lodging expenses. In order to comply with the requirements of Public Act 099-0604, I respectfully request that the council pass a resolution approving a travel policy for elected officials as presented. And there is a resolution here, and it refers to Exhibit A about what the expenses could be for the elected officials. And it says, "It shall be the policy of the city of Zion that elected officials shall follow the guidelines set forth below regarding travel expense reimbursement. There shall be no type of official business for which travel, meal, and lodging expenses are allowed. There shall be no maximum allowable reimbursement for travel, meal, and lodging expenses. Reimbursements for such expenses is prohibited." And as elected officials in the city of Zion, we each receive a stipend to cover incidental expenses, and it's expected that any travel or reimbursement that any of the people on the city council would wish to partake in would come out of their own pocket because they're received a stipend for incidental expenses already.
If there was a situation, Mayor, where we thought it was beneficial for you, let's say, to travel to Washington DC to represent the city, under this act from the General Assembly, would we be able as a council to allow you to make that trip and reimburse travel expenses? Because the allowable travel expenses for any travel is 0, so that's the maximum. So if we exceed if we decide we're going to exceed the maximum, if I read that Public Act correctly, the council would have to decide that we would exceed that maximum and reimburse your travel expenses.
I guess we could. I would suggest that if I need to go to Washington DC for
it's a hypothetical.
Right,
Yeah.
that I would pay for that out of my stipend that I get. I would follow the policy,
Okay.
so.
I'll make a motion that we accept this travel policy for elected officials.
We have a motion?
Second.
And a second. Is there further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner McKinney?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Item 8C is consider approval of amendment to the Security Benefit 457 plan to include the Roth elective deferral option per city clerk, but I believe Director Nabel is going to address this issue.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. This amendment just basically allows our deferred comp plan, which is elective deferrals from salary by employees, to have a Roth option. Prior to this, any contributions were taxed now, and then any earnings that they take down the road when they retire or whatever are taxable, or they're tax exempt now and then later they'll be taxable. The Roth allows them to be taxed now and then be tax exempt later. We had one employee who, due to an error on our provider's part, checked the box for Roth on the plan. They entered it in as a Roth on the plan. Our plan didn't allow for that. They said, we'll retroactively allow that. There's no reason that it shouldn't have been allowed. It was just the plan was set up before Roth was even in existence. So we just said we might as well allow employees to make the election on whether they want to choose Roth or non-Roth contributions.
It says in here, in this memo from the city clerk, that in 2016, the city chose not to allow Roth elective deferrals, as that had been past practice since the city first offered this benefit. The reason the city chose not to allow Roth deferrals from the onset is unknown. I don't remember that at all.
I believe it's just been a roll forward as is, kind of, that it hasn't been a discussion. It's just been one of those benefits that the city has that employees take advantage of or don't take advantage of, it's up to them. And nobody ever came along and said, hey, I'd like to have this as a Roth, have a Roth option on this. So it was kind of one of those, if nobody's asking for it, it was never proposed.
Okay, and this would not cause any cost to the city at all?
No. Okay. We just administer the plan, but it's all handled by the benefit association.
Make a motion to approve the amendment to Security Benefit 457 plan.
We have a motion
Second?
and a second. Is there further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner McKinney?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Item 8D is request approval to purchase a new server in the Public Works Department per Director Colangelo.
Same thing.
What you have is a quote from our IT consultant, Computer Help Key, to replace the computer server at the Public Works facility. Current server is outdated, out of warranty, and no longer supported by Microsoft. It was originally planned to replace it with the server from the police department, but that would only buy the city 1 year's worth of time. It would also require duplicating installation costs. Staff is requesting and recommending purchasing a new server this year and paying only once for installation through Computer Help Key for a combined cost of $6,541.19. Funding would come from the Waterfront's IT consultant and software line item accounts.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. Is there discussion?
Yeah, question. I see the itemized list here for support. Is that in addition to what we already pay for support, or how does that work?
What page are you referring to?
Page 2, I'm looking at 976-8318, 976-8327. So there's not really an itemized list to show what the cost breakdown is. I mean, it seems fairly reasonable. I just had that question about support.
A lot of this is, I'll be honest with you, because I'm not an IT guy.
Okay.
I almost want to defer it back to you, but I'm assuming this means that Dell will support, will give the server 3 years of support. Kind of like a warranty, I guess.
Right.
And we pay additional for that?
No,
No. Okay.
no, that comes with the price of purchasing. You get it with it when you buy it.
Got it.
If that makes
Okay.
sense.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson,
Aye.
Commissioner McKinney,
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell,
Aye.
Mayor Hill.
Aye. Item 8E is conduct approval of Aflac benefit for city employees per Director Nabel.
Thank you, Commissioners. I met with Representative Aflac recently and wanted to bring this to council. Basically, this is another benefit that employees can take advantage of that is of no cost to the city. It's just minor administration from a payroll side. But I don't know if you're familiar with Aflac, but it's basically a supplemental medical coverage if something happens. There's all kinds of different plans that they're offering us, but because we're part of we'd be considered a group plan, employees are able to take advantage of a rate that's about 50% less than what they could get on their own. It's completely voluntary for the employees if they want to take part in it. They enroll online on their own. Aflac sends us a deduction report from payroll, and we just deduct it. They administer it, it's up to the employee, but it's just an additional benefit that we can provide to employees at no cost to us.
A motion?
So moved.
A motion and a second. Is there discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson,
Aye.
Commissioner McKinney,
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell,
Aye.
Mayor Hill.
Aye. Department head comments?
Leaf pickup will begin Monday, October 24th, and advanced disposal will be making 4 trips this fall through the city, beginning next Monday. And your pickup is on the regular garbage day, street side.
Okay. Thank you. Other announcements, October 24th through November 5th is early voting at Zion City Hall, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., October 28th, 5 p.m. There's a Trail of Treats sponsored by the Lake County Lakeshore Chamber of Commerce, the City of Zion, and the Zion Park District. It begins at 5 o'clock. It starts at the concession stand in Shiloh Park and follows the road through the park with different organizations and businesses handing out treats. And it ends at the Leisure Center for their Halloween party. October 30th, from 2 to 5 p.m. is the Zion Trick or Treat. And November 1st at 7 p.m. is the Zion City Council meeting. Item 10, we have need for a closed session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2 open meetings for the discussion of pending litigation and collective bargaining. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Have a motion?
Second.
And a second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson,
Aye.
Commissioner McKinney,
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell,
Aye.
Mayor Hill.
Aye.